Hi YouTube, it's Amy. Okay, so this is going to be like the third video I probably will upload today. Maybe I'll wait till tomorrow to upload it. So this one I wanted to talk about sugar substitutes. There's been some talk around the community about sugar substitutes. It's probably always an ongoing conversation topic. Because we're trying to adapt our bodies to lower our intake of sugars, so it becomes a very highly popular subject for all of us. Now, I'm going to preface this little conversation I'm going to have with this. I am not an expert. I am, I think, educated, but I'm not an expert. I did a sugar report study in my physiology lab class a couple of years ago. Again, by all means, it does not make me an expert. It just makes me a very interested party. So, this is what I wanted to talk about. Aspartame. I think it's bad. I think it's bad because, unlike a lot of the other sugar substitutes, it passes the blood-brain barrier. What that means is that it not only circulates into our bloodstream, but it actually passes the blood that feeds our brain. This is why it gives a lot of people headaches, because it's a chemical, and that's all it is. It's purely chemicals. And our body doesn't exactly know how to process those chemicals. So, and not as easily. It requires more for our body to do. All those sugar substitutes that have no calories in them are chemicals, and our body breaks them down completely different. That's why they're not caloric. They have no caloric value to us. So that's my take. Now, I chose as, when I was pregnant with my daughter, almost 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, to give up aspartame. And people have asked me why aspartame. I did it because I knew that there was research out there that said that could cause harm to a fetus if you ingested aspartame. So I chose not to drink it because of that. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody by all means. Now, there are several reports out there that do indicate that, but we have to remember when they're doing these type of studies, they're feeding these rats or other animal subjects aspartame and nothing else. Now, we don't ingest things like that. Granted, we ingest a lot of aspartame, but it's not the only thing we ingest. So, keep that in mind. I'm not trying to scare people. I really am not. There are quite a few people out there who have no reaction to the aspartame, and that's wonderful. I, on the other hand, am one of those people who do. I think I wanted to say something else about it, but I'm not sure what it is. So, the second one that's really I wanted to talk about was high fructose corn syrup. Now, that has caloric value. And I think everybody knows it's bad. I call it, it's bad, people. It is bad. And I know people have seen commercials about, saying that it's bad. And then you've seen the rebuttal commercials. Oh, it's not bad. It processes the same as table sugar. Wrong. So wrong. And this is why that is wrong. I swear I'll try to make this condensed and easy. This is how table sugar is processed. Table sugar has two molecules, a glucose molecule and a fructose molecule, bound together by a glycosidic bond. That bond, when you ingest table sugar, is broken, almost, as you're digesting it, and you're given just your two molecules. We have a specific, how do we describe this? There is a specific thing in your body, it's called the Krebs cycle. It's how we break down things of caloric value. The Krebs cycle is specifically designed to break down glucose. It is the quickest and easiest way for us to retain or get our calorie when we need our calories. Now, it can break down, this Krebs cycle is designed to also break down everything else. Protein, long chains, all that kind of stuff, fat, but it breaks down glucose. Path of least resistance. That's what it does. Glucose is the path of least resistance. So our body is designed to do that. The thing that happens with fructose is you have to have additional steps before it breaks down into that Krebs cycle. Path of least resistance again. Therefore, the body puts those aside and puts them into chains. Why use this if you're ingesting table sugar and the bond is broken, you have all this glucose feeds into the Krebs cycle. Why do you need this fructose to feed into it? It's already processing the path of least resistance. It adds all these fructose into a chain, and that's how you get, to store your fat. High fructose corn syrup has glucose and fructose molecules, but it has more fructose molecules than table sugar does. The ratio is not by all means skyrocket. It's not like a 90 to 70. It's like a 54, I think, percent of fructose molecules. But think of that. Over half of those molecules are fructose molecules. Those immediately go into those long chains. If you're digesting so much of this high fructose corn syrup, all those fructose molecules get into chains and get stored away. All the glucose molecules get used. And even if there's too much glucose molecules, those get stored into fat chains. This is how we gain so much weight from high fructose corn syrup, is because over 50% of what you ingest is automatically going to be processed as a chain and stored as fat. If you don't need it and it takes the body more steps in order to process it, why use it right away when you have something else? So that's my explanation about high fructose corn syrup. I will answer questions, and if you need more information, I will be happy to give that to you. I will pull my sugar report out, and I will give you statistics, and I will give you background information. But that's what I really wanted to share, and that's why high fructose corn syrup is bad. If you have children, try to keep them away from. I know it's hard, but try. I'm not telling anybody what to do. It's just these are my opinions. Now there's Splenda. Splenda is also a molecule. It's no caloric value. It is derived from actual sugar. It is better because your body will recognize it better than it would like aspartame, and it will process easier. And but it has no caloric value. All of these sugar substitutes have a sweetness factor that is 100 times more sweeter than sugar. This is what happens when you ingest any of those. Your body, as humans, our body is able to take sweet and then crave more sweet. It wants more sweet, and it wants it sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. By the way, cats can't do that. You give them sweet and they don't want something sweeter or more sweet. They just don't care. I wish it was a cat sometimes. Our body will want more sweets and more sweets and more sweets. So people who say they get into binges or they get into overloads, or you take one bite of a carbohydrate and you want more, it's because a lot of those have sweet in it. And if it has aspartame or high fructose corn syrup, the sweetness factor is anywhere from 200 to 3, I think 400 is the highest it goes. 400 times. I'll look it up though. Splenda is 300 times sweeter than sugar. So that sweetness factor, you're adding more sweet and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. You want more and more and more, because our body would crave more, because that's what our body processes the easiest. It's glucose. So it recognizes glucose as sweet, therefore it wants more and more and more because it's easier for it to break down. So the sweetness factor can contribute to you ingesting more sugar because your body wants more sugar because it's easier to break down. Okay, so that's my spiel on sugar additives, sugar substitutes. There are a couple more. Stevia, which is not, and this is a couple years ago, I haven't researched it since. Stevia is not approved by the FDA in order to be used as sugar additive in the United States, I believe. Now, Mexico uses it in a lot of their products. And it's a plant derived. It's derived from a plant, just like sugar is derived from sugar cane. Stevia is derived from a plant, so it's got more biological components to it than chemical components. I mean, it's all chemicals, but what I mean is it has more biological things to it. It actually is derived from a plant rather than, chemical reactions in a lab. And now there's Truvia. I don't know much about Truvia. I have to do some research on that because I really don't know a whole lot about it. So, my spiel, my P's and Q's, answer any questions. Again, I am not an expert. I am just an interested party. If you would like some more background information, I will get that for you. And thank you all, and have a wonderful day. Bye.